Welcome to the Great Alaska Family Connection. My name is Hunter Mizar. I have the privilege of being District Superintendent of the state of Alaska for the Church of the Nazarene, and currently I'm in beautiful Nome, Alaska. I grew up in Alaska, and this is my first chance to come to Nome. And I'm sitting here with Pastor Bev and Pastor Keith Bateman, both ordained elders, lead pastors here in Nome, and currently they're celebrating their 80th celebration. And for you that haven't been to Nome, I got on a plane in Anchorage, and it was a short hour flight, and I feel like I came to another side of the world, in a good way. I mean, this really is such a unique place, such a unique culture. So I guess the first question I love to ask people is, how did you first get a calling into ministry? Where did that come from? Bev, let's start with you. Where did that calling into ministry and pursue that look like?
Well, it started when I was a child.
Okay.
But it was, I would say, postponed for a long time. I had my first local license when I was a teenager in the church I grew up in Kansas City.
Wow.
And then I married a seminarian and thought, oh, that's good enough. And had kids, and life went on, and then divorce happened.
Oh. And
single parenting, and going back to school, and becoming a nurse, and all kinds of things. And always there was that thumb in the back. Yeah. So I don't know, when I married Keith, when we got married, I went from 3 kids to 5. And there still wasn't time to do the things that had to be done, to be able to be a pastor. But finally, I think we were in Louisiana when I picked it up again, and the kids were all grown and out of the house, and so I started the course of study and worked my way through that in the less than 10 years that are allotted for that. And our first co-pastorate was in Irving, Texas. Okay. So I was ordained in
that calling never
2012.
escapes us, does it? I mean,
No.
God just keeps pursuing us. Yeah. Keith, what about you? Where did that call come from?
Probably it's been there quite a while. When from the time that I grew up, I was in a pastoral family. Not that my dad was a pastor, but my grandfather was my pastor. Okay. And then my uncle went into pastoring. And so I was there in the kind of in the whole pastoral realm my whole life.
Did you feel pressure then with that family
not
legacy?
at all. Okay. Not at all. But they took us to various events. My mom and dad took us to events like General Assembly in Miami Beach and in Texas, Dallas, Texas. And there were times where I was very aware of God's presence. And I was thinking a few days ago that when we went to General Assembly in 76, I was a teenager, and it was just really neat. Dr. Lawler was speaking, and he's known for the sermon "Lovest Thou Me More Than These" from John 21. And in the darkness of the auditorium, I was sitting in the bleacher section in the back, and it was almost like hot streams of tears were coming down. I don't really express myself that much, but I knew God was speaking to me. Now, 2 months later, we came home from a church service, and on a Sunday night, Mom stayed for some meeting. Anyway, I got home, got to some shorts to do a run, and as I walked out the front door to cross the street and go do my run, something happened. And I mean, it was like you open the door and you are hit with the reality of God in a way that you never ever expected. So I walked back to the back of the house. Mom and Dad had a clothesline, and I just put my hands on the clothesline bar and said, God, if you want me to be a missionary, I'll be a missionary. or a Christian education person or an evangelist. And if you want me to be a pastor, like Grandpa, like my uncle,
Yeah.
okay.
Wow.
And that's kind of the way it began. But it was as real, I mean, even today,
Yeah.
I feel like I just relived it again. It does not go away.
Yeah.
But we had, it was more and more refined so that when, after I graduated from college, I spent a couple of years at home and then went to seminary. And while there, I decided I would focus in on missiology.
Okay.
So that mission call had become even more profound, and being involved with the various classes and missions. But in my life, events kept going along to the point where I could not serve as a career missionary. Thank you, Mr. Bateman, for applying. We need you to get married. Thank you for applying. We're glad you're starting a family. Thank you for applying. We understand that your daughter is sick, and we really want you to take care of your daughter. Thank you for applying, but we realize that there's a lot of turmoil in your home right now.
Wow.
Hang in there, and so it was just kind of that kind of constant thing. But missions never left me.
It's amazing.
So when Bev tells me about 3 years ago, I guess, Keith, I think we need to move. I was all ready to retire.
Where were you living at the time?
We were living in Irving, Texas.
Okay.
And I was ready to retire in Irving, Texas. I like the warm.
Right.
But God had another plan, and she said, yeah, I found my dream job in Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay.
And
so that's my question. How did you get to Alaska? So you didn't start in Nome. Tell us, Bev, how did you end up in Alaska?
I started out with my nursing career with pediatrics.
Okay.
Loved pediatrics. Didn't want to take care of big people.
Mm.
I'm going to change diapers and feed and
Yeah.
all that. No, I'll just do it on little ones that doesn't hurt my back.
Yeah.
And so I did that for many years, and then I was able to stay home with the kids, and then I was able to go back to work at a community setting, and then that ended, and there was no pediatrics within travel range.
Mm.
So I just put a resume out and was able to get on with a large Catholic health organization in the South. And we went through 3 pastorates with that same job. I was able to take it with me all the way around.
Wow.
But COVID hit, and I was tired of regulatory nursing and overseeing all that kind of stuff and making sure everybody dotted their I's and crossed their T's.
Yeah.
And so I just started looking around, and I've always followed faith community nursing and have been involved in it. And so I happened to see that job. And my kids will tell you, she's always said she wanted to go to Alaska.
Really? Wow.
So that's when I said, okay, yeah, we've got 10 years till retirement,
Yeah.
but I don't know if we have 10 years in Irving.
Right.
so it was a surprise to me, because it's like, well, I don't sense that we need to leave Irving. And yet at the same time, we're dealing with what's going on, God. And when it finally came to it was really fascinating for me, because I decided I was going to read the standards. I'd collected a whole bunch of standards and hadn't read them. So when the year changed, I thought, well, I'm just going to read the standards.
Yeah.
And I came across one article. I can't remember exact. I think it was Wes Eby that wrote it, but it was basically the idea of when you face detours in life. And that particular article in the Standard and the article that was next to it just nailed it. And it was like, yeah, it's time. I don't know where I'm going. I've been a pastor for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I'm saying goodbye.
Wow.
I don't know if I'll ever serve another communion. I don't know if I'll be able to preach an Advent series, or I mean that's scary, because I want to do that. I love to do that.
Sure.
And so that article helped me to say, all right, God, whatever. She gets to work. We took the Alcan. We took an RV and took the Alcan all the way to up and then down to Anchorage. And the second day that she was at work, I get a phone call. And of course, I don't know what I'm going to be doing at all. And the phone call was from her missions director. And he said, hey, would you consider being involved with the CPE program and serving as a chaplain for a year?
What does CPE stand for?
Clinical Pastoral Education.
Okay.
And so my responsibility, if I said yes, it would be working at the hospital, and then every morning going to patients' rooms, and if there are people that really want to talk to a chaplain, then we talk to them. And it was I thought, what's the difference between pastor and chaplain? I couldn't see it. But there is a very large difference. And what happened during that year and a half that I was employed with being a chaplain is that it began to provide the tools that I needed for this congregation and the ministry of this church.
Yeah.
And it was just remarkable. So in some ways, I am more of a chaplain than I am a pastor in the sense that we serve the homeless community and those that are really struggling with a lot of addictions and things like that. But,
so talk to me about this. You intended to come to Anchorage, the largest city in Alaska, 250,000+ people, and then a year ago, a little over a year ago, your life drastically changes and you end up in Nome, Alaska. How do you go from Anchorage to Nome? How did that happen?
Yeah, well, I was in the lower 48 visiting grandkids, as I'm known to do now and then. And I needed to talk to Brother Hartley for something. I can't remember but anyway.
And he was the district superintendent at the time.
Okay. So Pastor Paul and I set up a Zoom and we talked, and at the end of the Zoom, he said, by the way, I want you and Keith to think about something. I want you to pray about Nome. And I said, okay, I'll let him know when I get back.
Yeah. I
didn't tell him.
She did not.
I didn't tell him for about 3 weeks. And in fact, this is one of the hardest moves I ever made. Yeah. I was physically sick.
Wow.
And I called Ariel and I said, Ariel, I can't tell you what's going on. Yeah. But I need prayer. Yeah. I didn't want to leave my window. We promised him he wouldn't have to shovel snow when we moved to Anchorage. So we were in a beautiful condo that looked over Campbell Creek. I didn't want to leave my window. Yeah. And I didn't know if Nome had windows. So the Lord and I did a lot of talking. Yeah. And I finally confessed to him what was going on. Yeah. And the rest is history.
How did you take that, Keith?
When she told me, now understand my missions call.
Yeah, that's what's
and so amazing. It was like,
because this really is like a missionary journey. It's a mission field.
So when she told me, it was like, well, there's a pretty much a no-brainer. Yeah. You know, and I knew she was struggling. Yeah. And it was like, you shouldn't have told me, because I believe God's calling us to Nome, Alaska. Yeah. Here's why. Yeah. When I was 12 years old, missionary books were a big deal. Sure. And one of the first missionary books I read was Nome, Sweet Home. Wow. About this church. Oh my goodness. And that was pretty impressive to me as a teenager. So when it comes back 30 some years later,
That's amazing.
and I get to be a pastor here
Yeah.
with people that I read about
Sure.
in a missionary book,
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, the Lord's in this.
Yeah.
It took a little while for her.
Did you know before you even came here? Or did it take you actually coming to Nome and seeing the community before you knew God is doing something?
I was ready.
Yeah.
She was not
Yeah.
necessarily, but I was,
Yeah.
until we got to the parsonage.
Okay.
And then,
Because this is a unique situation.
Yeah.
I mean, talk to us about the parsonage.
well, the parsonage had a lot of maintenance issues.
Yeah.
I'm not a maintenance guy at all.
And it's in the church. I
Yeah.
mean, it's,
Yeah, just go down the hallway,
Yep.
or right there.
Which
But,
is really nice in the winter.
Yeah, but there were a lot of things that I had to learn, like you need to turn this thing on in October. You need to make sure that these things are turned on. You don't want this turned on. And oh, by the way, this is leaking a little bit. We got to level the building. I mean, it was just pile on
yeah.
for about 20 minutes, and I thought, what in the world am I doing here?
Because we had a unique transition, in that Pastor Dan and Pat were still here.
Yeah.
So they were able.
And they had been pastoring
been
for
here
10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, so they were able to take us through some of those things that come with living in Nome.
Yeah.
Like turning this on and turning that off, and don't do this, and, don't ever do that. And I could see him going, I mean, I could
It's
just,
gotta
I
be
could,
overwhelming.
I could
Yeah.
see it as we visited. But I think that somewhere in there, I think the moment that we made the U-turn on the tarmac out there, and I was like, that my adventuresomeness,
Yeah.
and okay, now we're in Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does it work having a co-pastoring? How do you pastor together? What are some strengths and complements? Because it's kind of a unique setting that you're both called and you're both ministering. So what does that look like?
Well, she has a great gift in administration.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the business side of the pastoring, she handles. And I am so grateful to God for that, because I could do it, but it's not going to be near as effective as she's been.
Yeah.
And so she says, well, if I'm doing that, you get the people part. So that's kind of how we worked it out. And so I do a lot of the preaching right now,
Okay.
although both of us can share the preaching from time to time. So I'll every now and then say, hey, do you sense that God is leading you to preach?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's do it.
This first year has been just kind of a transitioning, settling in, because one of the things I said, okay, if this is of God, I don't have to give up my job.
Sure.
I can still see my grandkids
Yeah.
3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
I can, whatever else. I can't remember. It seems like there were 3 things, but that was the 2 main things.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed like that was all an open door and everything was going okay. Pastor Paul was going, oh no, you need to talk to Elizabeth about a job there, because then they'll pay you to move. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know. I'd rather move less and keep my job than
Yeah.
than change jobs right now, because that's what this is my job. I
Yeah.
love my job.
Yeah.
But with that comes traveling back 1 week a month,
Okay.
and sometimes 2, depending on what's going on and when I'm teaching classes or when I need to travel, because I traveled from Anchorage.
Right.
So sometimes I have a double travel.
Yeah.
So,
We've been blessed, though. One of our children works for an airline,
Okay.
and so we get to utilize parents' privileges on that.
Nice.
that's the only
That's
way.
why we can do what we.
He has a 6-month rule. If he's gonna quit, he has to give us 6 months notice, because we have to be able to get back home.
Right. Now, the community of Nome is unique. So, not talking about the church, but what's unique about the community? Obviously, this is the big known for the Iditarod, and I'm sure a lot of people know it from the Iditarod. But what else is unique about Nome's community?
I think we interviewed in February a year ago, and it's just the uniqueness of the whole
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
And one of the things we were going down past the Bering Sea on Front Street, and just out of the corner of my eye, I saw these things sticking out of the ice. And Miss Elizabeth says, "Oh, that's the Nome National Forest." National Forest? There's not very many trees here. Oh yes, when Christmas time comes, well, after the Christmas season's over with, they take the live Christmas trees and plant them in the Bering Sea. That's the National Forest.
It's part of the Iditarod celebration, and there's cutouts of animals, and there's a sign. And unfortunately, this year, the ice shelf broke off and floated away, I guess, to Russia. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so the sign went away, so now we're trying to raise funds for a new sign.
Oh, no.
But anyway, that was Nome National Forest.
It's just the uniqueness of it.
Yeah.
That, I mean, you don't get that anywhere else. Panning for gold, it's a big deal. And,
sure. And
so when you might see a TV show that is kind of based out of Nome, you get to say, "Oh, I've seen that person in the parade or over there," and that kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting. Small town, small city, but at the same time varied, absolutely varied. And the thing that, of course, the missional part of me is just very intrigued with the native Alaskan and the population. I think we're about 65% native Alaskan here.
Okay.
And so learning the customs and being aware of them. One of the things that was really striking to me, coming at it from the pastor point of view, is when you have people that are elders that attend your worship service. Serving communion takes a different twist. Instead of everybody coming up where you serving communion row by row, you serve the elders first.
Wow.
And then you serve everybody else.
I see.
That's something that you don't do in the lower 48.
Yeah.
So these are just little things that it's like, I'm glad they told me this within a couple months of us being here, because I don't want to get on the wrong foot or anything, but it was the uniqueness of the environment, the town, that was so different. We do have a lot of homeless, and we see it firsthand here. Yeah. When they are on your porch and addicted to alcohol and so forth, we see that. Yeah. And how do we minister? Your heart aches for that situation. So,
and that's one of the things I think I appreciate about your church is you have Alcohol Anonymous here. I mean, you have a place for people to, in the winter, to have housing and to get out of, I mean, you really are a missional church that's reaching out to the community. So we're in the beginning of the 80th celebration. We had a great service tonight. You've been planning this for a while. What are some things you've discovered in this 80th, and maybe what are you hoping gets accomplished through the weekend?
Oh, it's been just such a privilege to be able to go through the history, and we've talked to several of the pastors or family members of them. Yeah. And just it's such a rich history. The community, while it's so rustic and raw, and you know the ice in the winter on the Bering Sea when it freezes over, and just the harshness of it, seems to drive people together. Because when somebody needs help, it doesn't matter whether you know them or not. There's a sense that you would get help. And just driving down the street today, past a couple of people walking along, and you know they were just waving and carrying on, and we stopped and talked, and you know it's just a very friendly place. Yeah. And the people, I've not met anybody that's not had time to stop for a chat. Yeah. Nome time is different than the rest of the country. Yeah. And there are blessings from that are just really cool. Yeah.
As I've been researching the history, we are very unique in the sense that many of our founding pastors were really missionaries in terms of their status.
Right.
They were not pastors, they were missionaries. And
because we should say, I mean, you started before the district was even established.
Right.
For
I mean, the denomination.
On his state.
I mean, you've been doing this longer than most of our churches on the district, and it was a missionary endeavor from the very beginning.
There were 3 churches that were started before the district.
Yeah.
And that would be Fairfield,
No.
then Nome,
Fairbanks.
Fairbanks,
Yeah.
Nome, and then Anchorage first.
Yeah.
And to be able to have that length of time, and the connection that we had was missionary.
Yep.
And the Home Missions Board back in the old days, they sent missionaries to us, or to this community. And I think that's the one really important thing. G.B. Williamson had made a statement when he was here back, I want to say in the late 40s or maybe early 50s. And he said that Nome is really a mission in more than just name. Yeah. Because of its remoteness, because back then it was 2/3 Eskimo, they said. And we really, he felt that we were like 60 miles from Russia. I think we're more like 165 or 170 or something like that. But we're still very close to Russia mainland here. Yeah. And so
closer than Anchorage.
So it is a missional kind of a place. And in fact, Pastor Paul and I were talking about coming to the ends of the earth. He says, well, you might not be at the end of the earth, but I think you could probably see it from here. Yeah, probably.
Probably true. So what do you hope that is accomplished by the end? Any hopes that you have when this is all done?
Well, I think for me, the hope of this weekend is to realize that rich heritage. Yeah. And to be able to then take and understand that the promises of God are true. Yeah. That there is a work to be done here, and that He's still active. Yeah. He's still wanting relationships with people and reaching people.
That's great.
Yeah, we've seen
finding how to do that.
We've seen some really in our heritage. We've seen some neat life transformations decades and decades ago. Yeah. But as I was sharing tonight, oh God, do it again. Yeah. So that we can see that. Yeah. Do it again so that we see life transformation, and we can pass it on to our kids and grandkids and beyond. Yeah. So that they can hear the story of God working in Nome, Alaska, through the Church of the Nazarene.
Tell me that phrase. Tonight used it, a little with God's a lot. Is that what you were saying today?
Something, yeah.
Yeah, I love that when you were sharing that tonight, because I mean, it seems like that's kind of the story of this place. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just been working. Witness teams have come. Yes. I mean, faithful pastors have come. Leaders have stepped up, and this is really.
It's an Alabaster church. Yeah. Parts of it, and one pastor actually orchestrated buying the property to complete the land that's here out of his own funds and loans, and asking family members for a gift because the church didn't have it right then, but he saw that vision. And so it's just been a
sacrificial love.
Sacrificial love and mission point.
And the church really is in the center of the city. That's what I love. Because, I mean, you guys are right in the heart of when everything happens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Many times we see the parking lot at the community, where the community gathers, and it's like, well, something must have happened. Probably
need to go figure out what's going on.
Yeah, Iditarod's interesting. And
how many people will come during the Iditarod?
Oh, does it swell? I don't know. I want to say a couple thousand.
Yeah. It about doubles.
It doubles.
That's what I heard. It's about doubles. So it just and of course we've had 5 cruise ships this year on the schedule. So when we know it's about time for the cruise ship, because the roads get plowed or graded, I guess it is,
Graded,
in the
yeah.
summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have, I said, I think they graded our road for our celebration because it's all,
Sure,
all
yeah.
nice out there,
Yeah.
so somebody
I love
got the
it.
word out.
That's what we're gonna believe.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I like it.
That's right.
Well, Pastor Keith, Pastor Bev, you are a great asset to our Alaska District family, and the Nome Church has a great history, and we're just believing that God's got great things for it in the future. So thanks for what you're doing. Thanks for the celebration, but thanks for pastoring in a place that is very unique, and yet you are rising up and facing the challenges with such great hearts. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
well, thank you for watching this episode. We're going to see you real soon.